This is Alex Habersham, publisher of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.
Get ready, Central Georgia,
For the new
2022-2023 edition
of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages
in hard copy and
digital list.
the theme is culture, the phenomenal force that brings our communities together with things like art, music, literature,
And
racial ethnicities, or morals, values, and principles.
the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.
Publication is your complete resource for finding black businesses in Central Georgia. The new edition will be available,
At various locations throughout the city,
and we're on all social media platforms.
or go to our website, MaconBlackPages.com,
So get ready, Central Georgia,
for the new
2022-2023 edition.
of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.
Culture is the essence of who we are.
You will be amazed.
Get your copy today.
Pick up a book. Often too many opportunities to get assistance in many areas in which we are involved, and are many areas in which there are needs, to address certain problems or certain facets of our community, and certain situations wherein people need help. It could be psychological help, it could be educational help, it could be social help, it could be medical help, it could be academic help, it could be economic help, you name it. Well, I'm happy to report to you that there are resources available out there for the community and for individuals who need help in many given areas. Now, one of the most important resources that we have in our community is the River Edge organization. And I'm so happy today that, it really thrills me to be able to disseminate information. No. It thrills me to have someone else who knows about River Edge, who can disseminate information. So, I'm so happy today to have Mr. Cass Hatcher, who is the CEO of the River Edge organization, to talk about all of the good things, all of the needed things, all of the impacted things, and all of the effective things that can be done to address certain problems in our community, to address certain needs in our community, and to address certain ways that we can improve our community by providing help to those individuals who need it. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Habersham. How are you doing?
I'm outstanding, sir. Thanks for asking. Let's start off, Kat. Tell us a little bit about you. You've been around a while. I remember, man, I worked with you when you were over at Macon Housing Authority. I know you were a military officer, blah, blah, blah. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was raised and born in Birmingham, Alabama. Attended Tuskegee University, where my goal was to be a Tuskegee Airman. I passed all the tests to do that, but I was an architect student as well. And so when I was going to the Air Force, they paid a bonus to architect students to come into the Air Force. So I took the money and never looked back, and started my career as an engineering officer, retiring at the rank of lieutenant colonel, and then worked a little bit in Atlanta, did some SPOS work there in Clayton County, and then I applied for a job with the Housing Authority as the Hope 6 director. That's where you and I first met.
Yep.
And basically, with that in that job, basically was responsible for the demolition of overthrow homes and creating the mixed use income throughout Macon-Bibb County. The last project I did with them was Felton Homes. Well, basically turned it completely green. With the solar panels on Felton Homes is my fault if anybody want to complain about them. And then I was getting ready to leave to go to San Antonio, Texas, and then River Edge came a calling and asked me would I help them with their housing stock. And so they had the money to do the rental assistance, but they did not have the housing stock to provide the housing for people who are homeless and have a have a disability. So I came on board, and basically we started in a nonprofit development arm, and we've created over 200 units of supportive housing throughout Macon-Bibb County. And those houses are targeted for people who are homeless, people who have a disability, and some of our hardest to serve clients, those who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. So we have group homes, we have single family houses, we have multifamily houses created throughout Macon that provides the services to those much in need.
That is so outstanding. So you've just indicated one area in which River Edge is involved, and that's housing.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, that's good to know. I mean, it's and like I said, CEO Hatcher, it's just important for them to be familiar with resources. And
Yes.
so I want my listeners and viewers to know that, many resources are available through River Edge. And one of them is assistance with housing with people with disabilities and other kinds of problems. And we'll let you know how to get in touch and where to find out all of the requirements for being involved in housing a little later on in the show. But housing is not the only thing.
Not the only thing we do. So we do.
Housing is not the only thing. There's
Not the only
several
thing we do.
other
No, sir, it's not by far from it.
resources
We are. Go ahead.
through River Edge. So talk about some of the other things. It's just a myriad of activities and resources that are available through River Edge. Talk a little bit about them, if you will.
Well, we provide a wide array of services here at River Edge. We provide mental health services, which is our key for those clients who are suffering from a substance addiction, in terms of drug abuse. We provide great services there, and we provide services, as I mentioned, to our clients that have intellectual development disabilities. As
Let me interrupt you. Now, I know that we all know people who need help.
Yes, sir.
We got friends and relatives, ain't 9 of them, cousins, and so it's important. It's important, because oftentimes these are loved ones.
Yes, they are.
Who need help with some kind of drug abuse or substance abuse or alcohol abuse. So talk a little bit about the availability of resources that need assistance. And I want you to answer this question for me. Do you have to be an abuser to apply for and take advantage of the services that River Edge are? You know what, Doc? Let me tell you this right quick. I'm gonna get back to you in just a minute. But I read somewhere. I was on a bus in New York City, and then I saw, how they put these signs at the top of the bus with the different advertisements, and the sign said that 75% of the people in the world need some kind of psychological and or mental assistance.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm gonna be the first to admit that includes Alex E. Habersham. So talk a little bit about the assistance that's available mentally, psychologically, for people who may need some mental help.
Yeah. Well, if they need mental help, basically the first choice is to come here to River Edge. We have psychiatrists, we have nurse practitioners, we have nurses, we have all the key professionals here that can help them with their mental health, anywhere from group settings to individual settings. They don't have to have insurance. We do take Medicaid and Medicare. We do take most insurances, but if they are uninsured, we provide a sliding scale for the uninsured, and we basically serve them. We are basically contracted with the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, and as being a contract with them, we can provide almost services at no cost to those clients who don't have any insurance. Basically, we have a full staff of about 612 team members that provide that service. And so basically, anybody who have any type of mental health services, they can come here to our main building. If they're in crisis, we have a brand new state-of-the-art crisis service center, which is being built on Fulton Mill Road. And so that's a walk-up service. Attached to that, it was called what they call a crisis service center. So at that center, anybody who's in crisis just can walk in, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they can come there and seek services. They'll have someone to meet them there at the door, basically have a conversation with them. If they need medication, they need to stay over. If they need a longer stay, we can admit them to our crisis service center. From substance abuse, the same way. So some people have both mental health and substance abuse. They could be dual diagnosed. And so we provide services on both of those fronts. And we also do medication assistance. Well, for example, with opioid addiction, we provide the medication for that to help those clients in their recovery from drug abuse. And so medication assistance, mental health services, housing that we've already talked about, day programs, individual programs, anything to do with mental health services, we are one-stop shop here within Macon-Bibb County.
Well, let me plug something in here, Doc. Now, as you think about it, those resources that are available at River Edge can impact positively and address many of the problems that we're having in our community with homelessness.
Yes.
And crime and unemployment and food deficiencies. I mean, all of them, because what happens is that oftentimes psychologically and mentally, people don't quite have it together to be where they need to be or to get where they need to get or to address what they need to address. So if you would just emphasize more, I want you to do two things for me. First of all, emphasize more, because I think that's a major problem. I think that's a major factor. You know, one time I heard the sheriff say that a lot of the people who are in jail, you know, they don't need to be in jail. They need to be at River Edge because they got psychological and mental problems. So if you think about it, you know, people are concerned about crime and, you know, homelessness and people living on the street and safety. Well, I'm here to tell you today, what's the day, Monday, February the 20th, 2023 in the year of our Lord. I'm trying to tell, I'm being dramatic because drama is needed.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to say that there is a resource that's available for ourselves, our friends, our loved ones, our neighbors. Ain't none of them available to help to address the situation. So talk a little bit more about that. But entering into that, is there a way, you know, and I know this is kind of tricky and ticky, is there a way to kind of, for example, if a mother or somebody sees that she has a son, you know, husband or a wife or anybody who might need some help, is there an angle? Well, let me interrupt myself. I don't know why people think that there's a difference in seeking mental help and seeking physical help. You know, somebody, you know, got a rash or an infection, they run to the doctor, you know, without any second thoughts. But if they feel like they're having some strange thoughts or seeing little green men in their head, you know, they just think that it's some kind of negative stigma as it relates to trying to seek mental help. But it's not. I mean, you know, that's a part of health and a part of health. So talk a little bit, if you would.
So let me touch on the first point you're talking about in terms
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Sheriff Department. You know, we have just signed the MOU with the Macon-Bibb County Sheriff, well, Bibb County Sheriff Office to do co-responder. And what that means is that basically when there's someone in crisis, if a policeman if a sheriff get a call, then he will contact us here at River Edge, and we will provide a clinician to assist him on that run to be able to de-escalate the problem and hopefully send them out to our recovery center out at Fulton Mill Road and not take them to the jail and not take them to the emergency room. So that is something we just signed the MOU with the Sheriff Department. We are now in conversation with the Sheriff Department to go back into the jails. You know, River Edge was once there where we provided mental health services and substance abuse services to the inmates that are in the jail. So we're submitting a proposal within the next 30 days to Sheriff Davis and his team to see bringing River Edge back into the jail to provide those services not only for the inmates there, but as they get ready to transition out to basically have some reentries and services for them to get back into the community, whether that's housing, whether that's job employment, all those things that an inmate who's leaving jail needs to have to be successful. We're going to be back in the jail doing those things. As it relates to adults and kids coming here for services, like I said, kind of mentioned at our recovery center out in Fulton Mill, we do serve children. So anyone who has a child ages from 5 to 13, they can come there and seek help immediately, or they can come down here. We have a huge, what we call CNA program, which stands for Child and Adolescents. We provide that services to those young people to help them at an early age in their recovery and trying to find out what is the best way to service them, not really through medication, but through counseling and basically and other treatments that are available. And so anybody who feel like they have an adult, a family member, who may need to see someone, they can either come here to Emory Highway, or they can come out to our recovery center, or they can give us a call and we can have someone come out and visit them to make sure
Wow.
that we provide their services to them.
Now, but since they are adults, I mean, in order for you to provide the treatment, then an adult has to agree, has to initiate the process. Is that correct?
That's correct to some extent. If they're mentally incapacitated, or basically we can do a behavioral health assessment, and we have clinicians here who can basically, I hate to use the word, but say 1013, which is something that they are mentally incapable to take care of themselves, and they might be a danger to themselves or the community. We can have them 1013, and they're immediately taken to our recovery center. They're told to be enrolled to be seen by a professional.
That's outstanding. Now, are there any other services that are available through River Edge?
Well, we talked about housing. We talked about supportive employment for people with disabilities. We help them get jobs. I mean, housing is our big component. We are in the school systems. We have an APEX program that provides services to children in school with the disabilities. We provide the medication assistance. We do have a pharmacy here, and so we dispense our own medications. So if someone doesn't have to go to a doctor, we get it at wholesale prices. And like I say, and if they're uninsured, we can work with them. And so medication is done here. We talked about substance abuse. We're in the court systems. We do basically accountability court and work with Judge Harris. And so the list goes on and on and on. I mean, that's about the full gamut of it. Anything related to mental health, we do. Our treatment centers, we have 2 treatment centers to anybody with substance abuse. We have one specifically for men. We call the Billingsley House, where we see men up to 21 years of age and starting at 21 up to 65. And then, of course, for the ladies who have kids who are in defects, in order for them to basically to remain with their kids, we basically provide that service we call at Life Springs, where the ladies are there teaching coping skills, life skills, and they're there with their kids. So we have a place that both the mothers and kids can stay. The mothers are going through recovery, through substance abuse. The kids, we provide them, bus them off to school, provide some daycare services for them. And so that service is available to young ladies with kids who are trying to come with substance abuse. We have a huge recovery community here in Macon. And so we provide after hour recovery in terms of peer recovery services for engagement and education, and the support mechanism that we call Macon Recovers. And that is out on Windbush Road, and that is open on Saturdays and after work hours. So anybody who has an addiction and needs recovery support, we provide that service to them as well. I talked about our pharmacy. Last year we spent close to about over $700,000 in medication prescriptions to the clients that we serve, and so we're just trying to be a good steward here in the community. And of course, the biggest thing is our housing. We are real big on housing, and we've got some new housing coming up. We're in the tiny house business again, and so we built some about 5 years ago, and we're getting ready to build some more. And I don't know if you know this or not, but we're getting ready to open up getting ready to build a new headquarters building here at River Edge. If you know where the old Navaliers used to be, there on Riverside Drive, down where the post office is, well, we just acquired that property. And so we're in the process of having it tested and having all the asbestos taken out. But we're going to demolish it, and we're going to build a state-of-the-art corporate headquarters there that will provide outpatient services to people here in Macon-Bibb County. And we're just got approval from the county commissioners and the mayor. They're going to lease us some land next to the old rescue mission, and we're going to build a clinic that is going to be specialized for IDD, clients with intellectual developmental disabilities. And that's going to be a 16-bed clinic that provides dentistry, physical therapy, primary care, all those things that people who have intellectual developmental disabilities that can't go to a regular specialist to see. We're going to provide those specialties there in that building. So it's a lot happening here in River Edge, and so I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
did I mouthful? That was like drinking on a fire hydrant, man. That's a lot of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I'm even more excited And then, sometimes when resources and services are available, I watched the Legends of the NBA yesterday,
Okay.
and they talked about Bill Russell.
Yeah.
I think the guy's name was Spencer Haywood.
I remember Spencer Haywood.
And Spencer, had a drug problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going somewhere with this.
Sure.
And he tried to deny it and, tried to say that he didn't have a problem. But Bill called him and said, hey, something is wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Go get some help. And he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went on to have a fabulous career. I'm bringing in that analogy to say that, if we got somebody we care about or somebody we know or somebody that we love who has a problem,
Okay.
then one angle, particularly if that person, needs some help and that person respects you and kind of looks up to you, then what I'm trying to say is that's another angle to try to get some people into a program, that can help them.
Yes. Yeah.
So what I'm encouraging individuals to do is if in fact they are familiar with somebody besides Havisham who needs some help, I can check on myself. But if there's somebody in your life, or somebody or somebody in your organization, somebody in your neighborhood, maybe you could ooze up to them and say, "Hey, did you know that there is a lot of free help, psychological and mental and drug abuse and alcoholism available at River Edge?" So what I'm trying to do, CEO Hatcher, is encourage the community to be familiar with the services, the phenomenal services that are provided by River Edge, and then try to, because it's going to help the entire community. It's going to help the entire community. The more people that are helped who got housing and mental or psychological problems, the safer our community is, and it improves the quality of life.
Yeah, and it's not threatening too. Someone will come in, we'll do initial screening, see if they're at risk, do a complete assessment, get some data about their family background, and basically kind of establish a therapeutic relationship with the person that comes in, and then basically do evaluation with our doctor and see what the diagnosis is and what services are best for that individual. So, and it's so we're not, some people it might have, and it fluctuates. It could be mild. It could be something. Sometimes the people just need to talk to somebody, and so that's what we're here for. We're here to be that shoulder to cry on, that open ear, and be a support to the community.
And then I think that would apply to suicidal tendencies. That's increasing in people, man.
Yeah, we do.
You're getting more of that,
We're hosting On the Table again this year. We have 29 tables. One of the tables that we'll be hosting that if anybody's interested is suicide prevention and the things to watch out for. So, we are involved. And one thing that I'm going to do as the CEO here at River Edge, I'm going to engage us back in the community. In the past, we kind of stuck to ourselves and kind of, people didn't know exactly who we are. But they're going to know who we are now. And so I'm going down to Daybreak and talk to with the sister down there. Teresa, I'm going to I just met with the Family Counseling Center. I met with Miss Gibbs and just had Jake Hall and I just had a good conversation on Friday about how we can partner together and work with the Resource Center and United Way. And so I'm getting ready to reach out to all of our partners because we can't do this by yourself. The people say it takes a village, but I think it takes a whole doggone city and maybe more, maybe the state, because these are some big problems and you can't do them alone. And you need to develop partnerships and have a collaborative spirit to kind of make all this stuff works.
Well, that's very, very true. Now let's talk about the mechanics of I'm sure that there are people listening and are looking who are wondering, how do I approach this? How do I get involved? What's the application process? Do I make a call? Do I just show up? What are the mechanics based on certain issues? And what I mean by issues, whether it's housing, and our mental health, and then if in fact there are areas that you need community support, you can go ahead and plug that in. But talk about the mechanics of how people kind of get into the process.
Well, let's talk about the mechanics of housing first. So the mechanics of housing is we work with, they have a process called, and this is all funded through HUD, of course. They have a process called coordinated entry. So they will go down to EOC, Economic Opportunity Council, and they're basically get assessed. And then that would determine what need of housing they're qualified for, whether it's our housing, which is permanent supportive housing, or maybe it's with the Macon Housing Authority. In terms of services here, they can go to our website. If they don't, they can just call River Edge and call our scheduling department, admissions, schedule an appointment, and come down, and we can go ahead and schedule an appointment to come down to see us. If they're in severe crisis, go to our crisis service center down Fulton Mill Road, and they can be seen immediately at our crisis service center, and no appointment is needed.
That is outstanding. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Mr. Cass Hatcher, the CEO of the River Edge organization, who has done a phenomenal job of just trying to tell us all of the resources that are available through the River Edge organization. And we need to take advantage of it. Not only that, we need to spread the word. He said he's in the process of spreading the word. Well, we need to be in the process of helping him spread the word, so the entire community will be familiar with these resources and these services, which in turn will result in helping this to continue to become a better community. Thank you so much, Mr. Hatcher.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and Godspeed to you. And you've been doing a phenomenal job for this community, and I've known you for a long time, and I have nothing but high praises for you.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna send you a check for that. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Have a great day.
www.makingblackpages.com.
This is Alex Habersham, publisher of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.
Get ready, Central Georgia,
For the new
2022-2023 edition
of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.
in hard copy and
Digital.
the theme is Culture, the phenomenal force that brings our communities together with things like art, music, literature,
And
racial ethnicities, or morals, values, and principles.
the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.
Publication is your complete resource for finding black businesses in Central Georgia. The new edition will be available,
At various locations throughout the city,
and we're on all social media platforms.
or go to our website, MaconBlackPages.com,
So get ready, Central Georgia,
for the new
2022-2023 edition.
of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.
Culture is the essence of who we are.
You will be amazed.
Get your copy today.
Pick up a book.